Hi, I'm KV and this is the moon phase report for Taurus. Okay, so you guys, right now, your life has been very focused on maybe like some new groups, or new groups of people, our friends in general. And I feel like I talked about this a couple weeks ago, but there's still going to be this really big attention that is on feelings of wanting to be giving back and contributing in the world, and possibilities of thinking about joining others to continue on this mission that's in your heart. So you may be meeting people who are talking about the same things that you want to be doing, and maybe pulling in new groups of people that are even like a new caliber of friends could be coming into your life, where they are just awakening you to how important it is to have awesome friends. You know, there can be this kind of coming together even tighter with groups of people, maybe even seeing things like where other friends just aren't cutting it, you know, like really being able to sit there and say like, wow, this certain kind of person, like I really want to have more of them in my life. And then this other group, you know, it's kind of something, it makes me think of like a lot of times when you start on that spiritual journey, one of the first things that happens is you really do start letting go of these friends that you've had maybe for a big part of your life, but you see that you're not on the same vibration anymore, and like suddenly you're just going to be like, you know, I want to be like talking about things with people that matter, and not just like fashion or nonsense or gossip, or, you know, you suddenly like think about how I want to like share my space with people where we talk about ways that we want to change the world, or, you know, things that give back and contribute. So there's some kind of shift like that going on with you right now, where you really are seeing who's really important to you and who you want to pull in closer, and, you know, maybe even like who you want to let go of, if that has to be. I mean, we do really need to be really sacred with our space and who we share space with, because it's really important that we are all in these very empowering sort of situations now. You know, in an unlimited universe like we are in, it's much better to be around people who think you're really rad and think you can do anything, and who enjoy inspiring you to these greater heights. And likewise, you know, in friendships where I love to empower people who get something out of it. You know, if they're just like, yeah, whatever. I mean, how much fun am I going to have with them? You know, but when they're like, yeah, thank you for sharing that, you know, it makes, that's cool. So there's definitely, that's kind of like the energies right now. You're in kind of something like that. Let me see here. I need to look at this chart a little bit. So yeah, totally. I love how like I'm doing this new thing where I don't even like really, several signs back, I would just look at the sign, look at the chart for the sign and just go. And now I'm not even looking at the chart. I'm just like, okay, let me just see what comes out of me naturally, and then we'll see if this coincides. And it totally does. Because also, you know, what's happening too is that it's something very familiar to you, but it's about values. And right now you are, you just want to have, you're just really thinking about how to have more value in your life. And that's why you're recognizing that friends are a big part of that. And without them, you wouldn't have this anchor to the earth that's really important. And maybe you haven't put enough emphasis on your friends, and that's why you're awakening to this, that like, I need my peoples, you know, like there's something that's, you're equating your friends, or even like, you know, being in groups, like taking classes or support groups, or something that just pulls people together at a certain time with a common theme. You're just kind of thinking like, I mean, even if it's like working out, I guess, you know, with a group or a class, or, kettlebell, or I don't know, whatever. You're just kind of thinking like, I need that in my life. That adds more value to my life. That kind of expands this stable thing in my life. And right now, all that stuff is in this really watery, fluid Pisces. So you haven't, one thing is that it's making no boundaries, so you are more able to feel how important this thing is in your life, but not necessarily know how to go about bringing it in. And really, you don't have to do anything. You just really need to say, hey, I want more of this in my life. You need to recognize it and name it and be like, I want to hang out with friends more. And, I want to make time every week that I get together with my peoples and, we celebrate life, and so just kind of, especially with this new moon on March 11th, you're going to want to put those energies out there of your intentions of, whether it is like, I want to find a group that feels like home, where I can really be true to myself and share whatever, if that's something you want, or, I want to connect with friends more, I want to make this time. I am going to make this time every week that we get together and share, what's going on and how we can empower each other, or I am going to start doing something that gives back. I am going to make time every week for volunteer work. Maybe you're thinking something like that too, because that would be something that would come back and bring value into your life. So if you're thinking these things, do them. You always have to understand too that when you're having feelings like this, there's a reason for it, in that this step has to happen to bring this other kind of, who knows, lingering steps into your life. Even something like, you have to do this. Maybe you are feeling called to start volunteering at the animal shelter, and by doing that, you end up meeting somebody in 3 months' time that changes your life, So you really have to honor when you have these urges to I want to expand my life in this way. I want to start doing this. There's a reason for it, and it very well can tie into all these other things that comes later, where you then look at this thing later in life and go, man, had I not done that back then, had I not decided, hey, I want to do this other thing would have not come into my life, and now I have all this other stuff because of it. So there's always reasons for it, and right now you're going to be feeling something like that. So do it. Find some way to give back, whether it is through friends, whether it is through joining an organization, whether it is through volunteer work, because this is seriously going to add more value in your life. And one thing that's going to tie in too with this is, because there's this really strong potential for you making more money, if that's something you want to be doing, which, isn't that funny that I worded it like that? Does anybody not think that? That's awesome that I would say that, because I love to think that some people don't think that. Because I have this new thing too, where money means nothing to me, and I've never been that my whole life. I knew being poor, from a little child. I have that ingrained in me. I have poverty consciousness, no doubt. Although I shouldn't even put that out there now, but I've lost it. Now it's I don't even think about it, I don't even think about how money will come in or if enough will come in. I just trust, and I know it will. It always has. I've always been supported. It always works out. Suddenly I get it. And money, whatever. I'm so free with it. And I didn't used to be. I used to be very stingy with it. Now I'm here, let me get that for you. Here. And then it just comes in. So you probably know about this, which is why I worded it that way. So, but anyway, some of these changes you're making now very well may lead to more income coming in, or at least something that will bring more stability into your life. So another reason to follow this intuitional thing that has you wanting to do this other thing. You just want to give more, give back. And so with this new moon, we're then the day after, so the day after March 11th, March 12th, Mars is going to be moving into Aries. And that's going to be, you're really, and this could be the result of doing some volunteer work too, if that's what you're thinking about, but you're going to be much more inward focused as if you weren't already because of the recent abundance of water. But you're really going to want to be going in within and connecting with spirit more like you aren't already. This is a whole series of things. You can feel that. But even more so to kind of get to know the real you, which I know I've been talking about this for like a year now on the written horoscopes. There's something with you, like there's these layers of not truth, that something with wanting to please people or make people happy, or trying to keep the real true you hidden for some reason because you thought you needed to or should or supposed to, is just kind of peeling away. And once Mars moves into Aries, and Venus and who else is? The Sun is too in 2 weeks' time. And they're all really going to be focused on you just kind of pulling more back and going within and kind of more getting to know yourself. It's kind of like that retreat thing where you just you just start spending more time with yourself and finding that, wow, that makes you more happy than anything else. Like getting comfortable being with your own self, and in this purpose to kind of come to this rebirth position of feeling almost kind of born again, with finding who you really are. And there's something about this that connects with spirit. There's something about this that involves meditation. You might need to be doing more of this in your life so that you really can feel really awesome about yourself, because then on 4/20 we have Mars will be moving into your sign, and that's going to be really awesome. We always love when Mars is in our sign. It kind of speeds our life up a little too much is what it tends to happen, where you're like, whoa, I can't keep up. But it's going to really kind of boost your confidence and make you feel better about who you are and really secure with how kind of awesome you are and perfect. I mean, you're so nurturing and caring and wonderful, and like, I treasure all my Taurus friends, you know? Like, they just have this really stable force to them. And maybe this kind of means that all this giving you're doing needs to kind of start coming back to you now in the form of receiving, or in the form of acknowledging how awesome you are, kind of setting your bar a little higher. Something about this will maybe even attract this new kind of friend into your life. They're all going to tie together. All this stuff always does. I'm just feeding you the elements of things that you're already thinking and that you do need to jump on. I'm the motivator from the back burner. It doesn't make any sense, but it came out, so it must mean some sense. But backseat. Is that better than back burner? I'm a backseat motivator. But yeah, so that's what's going on right now. Let me look at this a little. Un momento. Okay. Oh yeah, totally. Okay. Cool. Yeah, that's where you're at. And this is all, there's this really big, strong truth element too, to all of this. And in relationships, kind of learning things through. You're probably kind of learning more about who you are through some kind of limiting things with others too. This can bring to the element of mirroring things. Maybe even like being able to see things clearer about yourself through other people that maybe you weren't able to face before. And that could be something that this friend thing is relating to, like your friends are mirroring something that you're blaming them about, but it's actually something that you need to see, and you just embracing that and owning it, your part in it, will kind of bring you more closer to who you really are. Because usually those things that we don't like, that we don't want to admit about ourselves, other people have, and it annoys us about them. So there could be some kind of element of bringing this truth out through that to you. So be open to that. And just, that's the key, be open to it. Because we can't like hide stuff anymore or deny it. There's no sense in denying it. There's no sense in being like, I don't know, I'm not going to look at that. You know, this new us needs to be this high vibrating, and like, what's that about? You know, anytime you feel something that is not pleasant, what's that about? Why did I feel that? What does that mean? What is that? What are they showing me about me? And it's good to be doing this work. It's really going to pick up in the next month, obviously, because you're going to have the full moon, and the new moon will be really kind of focusing energies there into peeling back layers of who you are that are hidden. And in order to have that Mars in your sign where you're like, hey, I love being me. You know, more of a purified, true, authentic expression of who you are. Okay, we're going to stop there. This is my last one. I'm so excited. This 13 recordings. It's probably getting really dark in here too. Okay, so I'm going to see you in 2 weeks' time. We're going to talk about the full moon, and this is the one that's going to take you much further inward and letting go of a lot of things that you haven't wanted to look at. So use the new moon now to even start dreaming about becoming this really true reflection of who you are, so that the world can really see who you are. And think about how liberating that is too, you know, to kind of not be self-conscious or not feel like you're always playing phony or putting on any kind of acts. How cool, huh? To be like, hey, this is me. So it's going to be good. Okay, I'll see you in 2 weeks' time. Have a beautiful new moon. Thank you.